What the fuck is up, everybody?
You're gonna just put expletives right off the bat because
right
then
in the beginning, dude.
Then you can't
Demonetized.
Demonetize right there.
Demonetized. Do we even monetize? No. No, we don't.
We can't monetize yet.
No,
so sub to the
welcome
goddamn channel so we can monetize, and then we won't swear at the beginning of the episode.
I promise nothing. Welcome to Tyson Teddy Talk, episode 2020. That's fucking crazy. That's
an adult.
Wild. Yeah,
it's a little
one more year and we can drink in America.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The only country that has.
Can't you vote? No, you vote at 19.
Oh yeah. You vote at 18.
18, okay. That's so weird. It's like,
almost
hey,
everything
make
is 18.
Make huge decisions for the country, but you can't drink alcohol.
Yeah, you can go in the military.
But like that's a weird like
Yep.
Drink alcohol at 21, but vote for a president for the next 4 years of the country at 18. When you don't know anything at 18, I'm sorry.
Oh,
if you're 18 years old, you don't know anything.
No.
I didn't know anything at 18. Nobody does. And that's okay.
Well, 18, I was starting college that year, I guess. Or I think I might have actually started. No, I think it probably was at 18 in that summer.
I did 1 year of college.
It's weird because my birthday's in December. So
in high school, guidance counselors were like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I'm like, I'm 17 years old. And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, well, you have to go to college. And I'm like, okay. And so I took a whole bunch of like just random ass classes, not knowing what I wanted to do. And then I dropped out in the first year because I was like, damn, I'm not paying money to figure out. I'm not going to pay money to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life before I know what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Gen eds were the worst. Like the first year, 2 years of college was still not. It was still like high school and garbage and then I remember I think literally the whole entire first year of college, I didn't take a single class like in my major, which was like video production. And then the second I did, and it was just like intro to audio video production, I was like, oh, this is great. This is so much better. I'm actually somewhat interested in what's being taught.
They really just push it too in high school. Like, honestly, I wish I could just go back in time and be like, you know what? Take a year off and just work, save some money, and just think about what you like to do and what you would want to do as a career. Because especially if you don't know. If you know, then you can go in. But if you're questioning things, don't pay money just to help me. Yeah.
And very, very true. If you are going in, college is hella fucking expensive. Like, take your time before you go in.
Because then it's just money wasted if you're like, you do a year and you're like, you know what, I actually want to do something totally different. And then even like your courses
require college or something like that.
Or like your courses, like I went into trades, so none of my courses like carried over. I don't think I went to 2 of my finals in my first year because I knew I was going to quit. And so I'm just like, no. I did like creative writing and like I think I did psychology and maybe business marketing and
I remember my first year. College was wild in the fact that like I remember my first year I was very like diligent, like I would have been all throughout high school. Of like everything was turned in exactly on time. If I went to every single class, and then I started realizing like, and I was reading like every single book they assigned me, like the whole fucking book, you know what I mean? Like, and then at a certain point, about halfway through like the second semester, and then definitely my second year of college, I was like, I didn't need to read that at all. That that was not on any test. That was not on any, they didn't ask me about it. They didn't ask me about the book. They just told you to read it. And I started realizing that and like slowly being like, looking at my assignments being like, don't have to do this, have to do this, don't have to do that. And then like at a certain point too, I would realize like, oh, what are we covering in class the next day? I'm going to stay home and play Destiny. It's fine. You can miss 6 classes without any penalties. Like, it was wild. It was so stupid.
College
and
is
I will say, just in general, I used to really hate school just in general, like all throughout high school and college. And I still kind of do. I do, as I'm older now, value learning a lot more. Like literally just learning and knowledge and about all things. It's good to be well-rounded and whatnot. But like, the structure of college and high school I just hated. But like now as an adult, I'm like, fuck, I wish I had taken more like fucking psychology classes. Like that would have been really cool. I would have probably been more interested in that, but I don't know. It's the education system in America is
Well, when I went
flawed.
to audio school after, like, this was after I did trades and all that, and I kind of decided what I wanted to do with my life. They had the structure different, so it's not like it could have been spaced over like 4 years, but instead it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you did like 3 months, and then you had 2 weeks off, and then 3 months, and then 2 weeks off, and then 3 months, and then so I didn't have like a summer or winter
Yeah.
like big break, which was
Yeah.
kind of nice. And it's like, yeah, you just want to get your schooling and then just like get it over with. You don't want to have
Yeah.
like these parts in the middle. It's like, yeah, summer's great, but I would rather just not have to
Summer's also
think of.
not real. It's not a real thing
No.
once you're done with school. And you go throughout literally from preschool to all throughout high school, and then when you're in college another 4 years acting like summer is a real thing. And then when you graduate, it's not. You don't
And it's devastating.
You don't get 3 months off of your life.
And it's like you would think like, well, this is never going to happen, but like they should just do that from kindergarten to grade 12. It's like you just
Yeah.
go to school year round, and then you're done. I don't know how many
I
years
do understand
early.
summer as a concept for probably up until middle school, high school. Like, I get it for younger kids. Fucking kids are wild. But, like, even
They don't
in
know
high
the
school-
difference. If like the thing is if they didn't know the difference, then they'll just
Yeah,
never
but
know
I
the
just
difference.
think it probably wouldn't be super good for them to not have a break like that as kids. Kids need to literally just run. Dude, they're runners.
But they don't need
They
3
run.
months to run.
Hey,
You give
man.
them 2 weeks every
Honestly-
couple of months. That's not a bad. That's a pretty
I mean,
good
it's
trade-off.
probably better for the parents if they had 2 weeks every 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like, here, have them for 3 months.
But then
they're
it's
back
also
to
like
being
terrible
yours.
for daycares because the summer they probably make a shit ton because the parents have to work, and so then
true.
they have to give their kids to daycare. So
Yeah.
it's a weird.
thought about that.
It's a weird thing. It's like it
I
is.
wonder how the
We don't know.
daycare
Yeah,
industry does.
I don't know.
They're probably incredibly profitable in the summer, you know? It's probably like one of those things where like the restaurant I used to work at was super profitable like during the summer and like Christmas kind of time, like touristy times, and they, you know, banked a lot of money there, then saved. Like, it's crazy. A lot of
it's-
businesses operate like that.
But it's also just like very North American too, because I think in Europe, I don't know if they still have summers, but like I know that like businesses are different. Like they have different hours in the summer. I remember when I went to Italy and like it was Sunday and like businesses are just closed Sunday, and it's not like
Chick-fil-A Worldwide.
yeah, it's
Worldwide.
like not
gross.
as capitalist as North America.
Shocker.
But it's never gonna change.
No,
No,
no, I don't.
people are
think so.
greedy. Yeah.
Fucking title of the episode: People are greedy.
People are greedy. People be greedy.
True. People do be greedy, dude. Trying to think, what did I do this last week? I played some more video games. Played some more Rogue Company. We out there, we're shooting, man. Bro, I'm getting to the point where like the other night we were playing with a group of 4, and then we had 2 others chilling in the lobby. And once they finished their game, they were playing separately. One of them started just watching the stream, and he was like, we finished a round, and he was like, Teddy, this is really good gameplay. And I was like, what was that? And he said it again, and I was like, is that like a serious compliment, or are you fucking with me?
No
He was
cap.
like, no, I'm serious.
cap.
You're doing really good. And I was like, oh, thank you. I'm not used to that. But I've gotten to the point, I'm totally jinxing myself by saying this right now. But like, it is my game. I have like most of the time I am either number 1 on the leaderboard on my team or number 2. Like I've gotten to where it feels like very natural. Like I'm pulling off random shit that I'll pick up a sniper and actually like snipe somebody in the head, which I don't do in most games ever. It's like, it's so fun. It's crazy how like playing a game regularly you'll actually improve. It's wild.
It's literally
Who would've guessed?
that's how everything is in
How
life.
everything works. Yeah, I know. That's why that one time where I spent 30 days in a row playing Overwatch for at least an hour a day, and then saw my improvement. And this is kind of the same thing, but I've been doing like 2 hours most days. But it's been fucking fun. I haven't played too many other games. I played that most nights. And I was supposed to be spending a weekend with a lady friend, but that fell through because of life. So yesterday I played a good bit. I didn't stream still just because I was like, I already said I was going to take the weekend. I'll just kind of relax. And I played more Immortals. Still fucking great. I finished a New God DLC. The last vault. Like, I finished the last vault there and then kind of went back to the main game on Nightmare where I was, like, doing completionist shit and did a couple of random vaults in the, like, overworld in the main game. And then I was like, oh, these are so easy. They're so easy in comparison to the New Gods one where you have the fucking... You can put down your statue and then swap places with it, so it like changes all it's like very Portal with it got much more complicated. The game's still so good. I still want 100% it and do all the achievements. I got a couple of achievements today that were really easy. Nice. I went ahead and did those, like the glide 1,000 meters without dropping, stuff like that. I just looked up YouTube videos. The third DLC though, the one that's like isometric, is supposed to be out next Thursday. They're just like, yeah, next week.
And then that's it, isn't it? Cool.
Yeah, that's it. And then I can just focus on 100%ing. I will say the New Gods, I expected that because the only difficulties were, easy, normal, hard. There was no Nightmare, but I expected it to be like the base game where you beat it and then it unlocks a Nightmare difficulty. It has not. I beat it. It did not unlock a Nightmare difficulty, or at least it didn't tell me. But if I go to create a new game, it's like, hey, this is going to wipe your old save. And I'm like, ooh. So I can't even see if there's going to be one or not. My goal was to beat it on hard, then go back through at 100% and on Nightmare. But, like, I don't think that exists. And I can't find any information about it on Google. So
it's like, what's the point of starting a new game? I guess just to play it again. But if it's not
because
new game
I'm I'm going crazy completionist where I'm like, I'm going to do everything on the hardest physical possible difficulty. But like, there's no achievement for that. So I don't even need to do that normally on the main game. But I'm still
personal achievement.
Yeah. But like, I don't think it exists. So I think I'm good. I don't know. I do want to do some more research and see if maybe that does exist. But I'm thinking it doesn't because... The New Gods is already harder in general because the puzzles are harder, and also they took out potions. There's no potions. Like, I'm on Nightmare difficulty in the main game, but when I went back, I was still like, oh my god, this is so much easier because I can just heal. I just heal whenever I want. And then you also have like the 2 lives. I was like, oh, this is great. But on the second DLC, the Mists of the Eastern Realm, it gave you Nightmare as an option from the get-go. Nightmare was just one of the ones you could choose. And I was like, oh, cool. But I assume it probably doesn't have one. Yeah. The third one looks like it's going to have one. I was looking at all the achievements today, and the achievements for the third one already are on the Ubisoft thing. And I was like, ooh, here we go. I have 75 hours on that game, I think.
That's not bad. That's still not...
Yeah, no, but see, that is the reason why I basically was like, I really like this game and I'm going to 100% and become a maniac with it, because I know that even doing that is still not like 200 hours. Like, I'll still be able to do that in 150 at the most, you know what I mean? Like, and it's over a good amount of time of chipping away, and like, especially once I finished the main game, and then I was doing all the optional stuff and doing like completionist stuff. At that point, it's kind of just grindy, and treating it like an MMO and putting on a podcast. So it's a different kind of thing. So that's why I committed to that. Let me see, 78. Oh, I have an even number of 1,500 total enemies defeated. That's cool. I love it. I love that they keep all your stats, though, on the Ubisoft thing. Yeah. I love fucking stats, man. I love it. But yeah, I'm excited for the third DLC because it looks fucking weird as hell.
This week, so there was like a mix-up with the GMs, and Bungie decided to put, like, not last week's, but the week before, the Proving Grounds GM back, because... there was something where it was like you had to have the season pass and Beyond Light to do the GM, and so then they did something different. So then this week is just still the proving grounds, which I already did. So like, and
Are
there's
you
like
trying to basically do all the ones and they like come in rotation? I don't know how that works.
yeah. So like each week the GM changes, and then or like the nightfall changes, and then you can do it on GM mode. But this week they went back 2 weeks, and so I was like, okay, well that sucks for people who have done it. Also, it's not a good gun to like farm, and that's not a good strike to farm. But next week starts Guardian Games, which I don't know how much
I saw
I'm gonna
the
be.
trailer for that.
The cosmetics look really nice, and I'll see how grindy it is. But then also next week, the rest of the GMs are all available, so you can pick a GM and then just grind. Or
Yeah,
just,
the
like,
question
do them.
is it going to be the same Guardian games as in the past, where it's literally just like bounties, like easy as fuck bounties? Because at that point, I'm not very interested. For some weird reason,
they've changed it a little bit.
Really? Okay. Because
There's,
for some
like-
weird reason, small little events always drag me in, like Festival of the Lost and the Dawning and all that. So if Guardian Games was somewhat different to where there's like new gameplay of sorts, I'd be interested.
There's not new
I'd go
gameplay, but because of last year, the whole thing was like you have to pick up laurels, and it was like if you're a Titan, you drop Titan laurels, and then other Titans can pick them up, but not if you're a Warlock.
Yeah.
So going into the strike playlist kind of sucked because you didn't know like if you were gonna get matched with like non the same Guardian class. So they're making a new strike playlist that when you go in, you're gonna be matched with the same class. So then
That's
you're gonna
kinda
go in
cool.
so then it's gonna be easier.
Still
I guess
sounds like mostly, you know.
I'm only gonna do it to get the catalyst for Heir Apparent because I already have the gun from last year. And then I'm gonna do the cosmetics. That's what I always usually do.
It sounds like, oh damn, it sounds.
It's
like
gonna be-
probably gonna be.
It's just it's like they're not gonna put new content in for Guardian games.
Damn bummer.
And it's like I don't really care who wins because I play all three, but I just want the cosmetics because the cosmetics look really cool, and yeah, and then it's mostly just kind of grinding
Isn't it
for
about 3 weeks until the next
Yep.
season?
3 weeks.
Oh shit! Fuck, dude, I gotta.
So I think I'm
ready.
pretty prepped for next season, even though we don't really know how leveling is gonna be. But yeah, Destiny's like just in a place where I'm just ready for the new stuff. I've done everything in this season. And so I haven't really been playing that. Haven't been playing Final Fantasy that much. I'm almost at 5.5, which is the new patch. But like I'm kind of I don't know. I don't know if it's just like how I'm feeling or just because like I'm anticipating the new games on the horizon, because like there's Pokemon in 2
Forbidden
weeks.
West.
There's Pokemon in 2 weeks, and there's Resident Evil, and there's Mass Effect, and it's like those 3 games are like huge, like anticipation wise for me. So I'm like, I wonder if I'm just like in this weird mode where I just don't feel like playing anything. So I haven't really been playing that
sometimes
much.
you get that way. I wanted to start like a new show because I've been playing so many games and not really watching anything recently. So I don't know.
Have you
I
heard
don't know
this
if I
little
did
show
mention-
called Revenge?
Oh,
If you can find it, it is worth a watch. One,
Yeah.
it showcases Emily Van Camp that as a great actress so well. Like I didn't really know she was like I knew she was like a famous actress, but I didn't really know if she was good or not. Like even in the Marvel stuff, she was always just kind of there. They didn't really give her
Yeah.
a lot of like I guess personality. And even in Falcon and Winter
Yeah.
Soldier, she's kind of just like I just want more of her because I know that she can act really well. And yeah, this show is just fucking amazing. It is so ridiculous, and the twists and turns and like it's very soap opera-y, and I just love that kind of shit because it's just it's 20 like there's 22 episode long season, but nothing feels like filler. Like each episode, there's not like a mystery, but like each episode kind of just brings the story along, and there's terrible people and there's good people, and now there's like secret parents coming back, and it's like it's just that perfect. There was like a moment.
Parents?
Yeah, there's a moment where like this like new actress comes to town, and she's like hanging out at this place. I'm not going to spoil too much of it if you ever watch it, but like she's hanging out at this place, and I'm just like, this seems like a weird scene for her to not be like important. And then at the end of the episode, she's like, I'm your mother. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, it's
No,
so
Luke, I am your
stupid.
mother.
It's so stupid, but I'm here for it. It was great. So I've got another season and a half, and then it's over. There's only 4 seasons, so it's not too long.
From 2011. It's like
2011 to 2015.
crazy. It's on Amazon Prime Video.
There you go. Watch like the first couple episodes, and if you're not hooked, then you won't like it. But I'm sure it'll hook you, because it's like it puts like Emily, that's the character's name, in this position where she's like, you know, that her father got sent to prison, and he was innocent, and then he died in prison, and like she's coming back for revenge against the people that did this to him. And you're just like, I'm in. Like, that's a pretty great premise for a show. Yeah. And then the way that she does it is just, she has like this master plan. Yeah. It's so good.
Does she have a book? Is she crossing names off of a book?
No, she has a picture. She has a picture. And then, yeah.
Sounds very Arrow season 1.
Yeah, a little bit. But like, I don't know. She's like believable, and like, she's like hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because like she changed her name, so then they don't know it's this girl, but she knows who they are. And then she has like a rich friend, a rich like tech mogul friend, who is like helping her out.
Gotta have one of those.
Yeah, and he's sort of like the comedic relief. Oh, funny thing, in the 3rd season, Arrow from Smallville, Green Arrow from Smallville actor is in the show. He comes back as a long lost son.
Oh, look at that.
To a character, yeah.
Wow, that sounds like just a lot going on, but
oh yeah, it's a lot.
I'm down with it.
It's good.
Okay.
And I haven't really been watching anything else. Yeah, it's just been that. There's not really a lot of shows, not a lot of movies coming out. I gotta watch that Invincible, but I think I'm just gonna wait until it's
the first season's only supposed to be like, I think 7 episodes. Like there's only like 2 more. Like it's supposed to be a short like first season. So yeah, I think there's literally only 2 more, and then you could just watch all of it. It's so good. God damn it. I will say this is, I was going to be like slight spoilers, but not really. It's a very minor little plot line. They're going through, they deal with the whole like, oh, I'm a superhero, but I'm in a relationship and I got to do the dual identity. And oh, why do you keep leaving? And you make up these lame excuses, you know, that whole thing. And watching the kind of funny reactions has been so funny, because there have been multiple times where like Kevin and Andy and Blessing have all been like, oh, you know, I really like this dynamic because you don't see that often in Super. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, did any of y'all watch Arrow for 7 seasons? Like
dual identities.
Yeah, like dealing with that with the relationship. Will they tell them? Won't they? Like, I'm like, this is such a common thing. But other than that, I'm really liking it. And even that's relatively a small part of it. It's so good. I want to read the comics, but I know if I start, it's like there's a fucking billion comics. It's like 10 years worth of them.
That's one thing, actually, one show I want to get back into, and I probably will after Revenge, is The Walking Dead. And it's only because it's only because of Hillary Burton, because I know that she's in like some of the later seasons. She's Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife in real life.
Oh. Who did she play in the show?
I don't know. I'm not really too sure about her character. I just know that she's in The Walking Dead now. And so I'm like, oh, I like Hillary Burton from One Tree Hill.
She might have literally just shown up this last season then, because I I'm looking
I
at
don't
her
think
right now,
she's-
and I don't think I recognize her face.
No, I don't think she's really been in that much. I just know that whenever like I see her on Instagram,
wow.
she's like talking about The Walking Dead.
Her
and, like,
character looks much different than her like normal look.
Yeah.
She has like a different hair.
so yeah, I want to get back into that, but I'll wait until Revenge is done, and then yeah, that's
Real talk, man. I've said this for a while. Like people who stopped watching The Walking Dead usually like right at the end of the Negan arc or like before it ended is the most common one. Like if they got back into it, they will enjoy it. It's fucking weird and different, but like it's still really good. Like it's a good fucking
I bet
show.
it is.
It's just
I think it's just
odd
that one
because it's
season.
like-
The one season that I always get stuck in, and I'm always like, I don't know what's going on, so I have to start at the beginning of the season and then slog through it, and I'm still just like,
It's probably the one. Negan has about 3 seasons. The first one with Negan is fucking insane. It's where fucking spoilers for The Walking Dead. It's fucking where Glenn dies, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of the end of it. The second season with him is incredibly slow. Like, almost.
I think it was the
nothing
last
really-
season because it's the season where they like fight back.
Yeah.
That's the
And then
start of the
third
season.
one is still good. It's better than the previous one. Like more stuff happens, but it is still pretty fucking slow to get to that. Like the comic arc for that is much faster. Like it's kind of odd. But then apparently like I'll have to go back and look at it. I think it's either the one after that or I think it is the one after that, the season after that, where I was talking about it on Twitter and was like, it's crazy how right here I feel like it really picked up again and started to get really fucking good. And then I had somebody tell me like, no, that's when they switched showrunners and like this person took over and it's been really good ever since. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. It is wild because it's very different from where the comics like ended, even though I haven't read up to the end. That's one thing I gotta do. I gotta fucking do that because I've read a lot of the comics. Like I got up to basically a bit before where the show is now. Like the show's probably past where I was. They're very.
I'll
what?
hear you in a couple of seconds. Okay. we're good.
Okay. But yeah, it is very good. I need to go back. I started watching like I think it's season 10 or whatever because they were up on AMC's site for a little bit before they took them off, and I did not. I watched like 2 and then they were gone. I was like, well,
I think it's all on Netflix up until like the last season, so I probably will get.
It's
back
definitely not here. I mean, I think it is, but like the most recent. I opened Netflix and it auto played a trailer. Holy shit, that was terrifying. But I think it's all of them up until the most recent one, but it's a bummer because I don't know if the most recent one is over. I don't know. I got to look into all of that. But dude, the newest and final season of Castlevania is coming out very
I haven't watched
soon.
any of that.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't watched.
It's
I
awesome.
like.
Castlevania
I gotta get
Netflix shit is
I have to
very
get
good.
into anime again.
Yeah, and see, every now and then I get into an anime mood, and then I'll watch it. But that is it's anime in art style only.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody's gonna come for me for that. But like, it's really just the art style. It's not even like
it's
thematics or it's completely English like voice,
well, it's like
and the voices
Dracula.
are really good.
It's like that's not really like anime.
Yeah, it's very like fucking vampire dark shit.
Yeah.
But it is very good. The fucking fight scenes alone are worth it. Like, and this is coming from a dude like there was an anime movie that I did a like Discord watch along with people for, and it was called Promare, and it's supposed to just be like super stylish, like really cool fights and all this, and like that's supposed to be the point of the movie. And after watching, they're like, "Oh, how did you like it?" And I was like, I mean, it was cool to look at, but I feel like I have to have a little bit more. Like I can't, it can't just be that. And Castlevania is definitely more, and there is like cool fucking character dynamics and shit, but the fucking fights are awesome. Like they're so well animated and shit. But yeah, that's like apparently the 4th and final season is coming out. But yeah, I was gonna say the show that I started too is definitely anime. I started fucking Demon Slayer, which I have heard so many good things about. It's
Very good.
so fun.
Isn't there like a movie?
That's supposed to be what's continuing it, apparently. Is after season 1, there's a movie.
Yeah.
But season 1's only apparently like 26 episodes or something like that. So I'm just, I've been meaning to start that, and it is very good. It is very anime of like you gotta train harder. Let's go. It's
very
hype,
anime,
but
like it's very like stylist. Like it's
Yeah.
very stylistic. Like
there's certain
some of the fight scenes are really really cool.
There's certain moments in the fight scenes where I'm like, oh shit, this is really cool, because it kind of switches up art styles in a way. It's dope.
Well, and
it's
like it
Avatar,
switches on like depending on like the character too. Like I don't know how far you are, but like there's
really?
different characters that have like sort of because they have like different, I guess not powers, but different sword 'cause, like
Forms.
sword
Different
forms
swords,
and like different with different affinities and stuff like that.
That's really cool. I'm excited. I'm only like 6-7 episodes in, so I haven't really met too many other characters, but I'm liking it so far. I will say, I'm scrolling through Netflix right now. Wild, it's on Netflix too. I was watching it on Hulu, but apparently
I haven't watched
Netflix
the
as well.
dubbed. I've only watched subbed for that.
I watched subbed.
Yeah. That's the other thing is I really like sub, but like you have to pay attention, like fully pay attention. You can't
Yep.
look away. You can't even look at your phone because you don't know what they're saying.
Will say, still mad that iCarly on Netflix only has the first 2 seasons for some weird reason. What the fuck's going on with that?
You're the only
dude.
one
Okay,
that's
did
mad
you?
about that.
I doubt you probably saw this, but there was a Twitter account called like Avatar News or something.
I
that
saw you like
posted-
retweet or some shit like that. Yeah.
I literally quote retweeted and said, I don't fucking believe you. Like, because somebody else quote retweeted that and was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I read it and I was like, no way. You're lying to me. And let me see what it said. It said, new Avatar original series announced, streaming this Earth Day on April 22nd, which is next Thursday. And I was like, no. No, it's not.
If it was something
They
like
wouldn't do that.
legit, they would have hyped it up a little bit more.
Also, so the announcement that Nickelodeon did make like an Avatar studio with the co-creators, and they're all like, they actually are working on original content, which I still is hard to believe, just because that's like a dream, and it's like hard to comprehend that that's actually a thing that's happening. So that's like, I won't believe it until the first trailer for something is out, and then I'll be like, what the fuck? But when this was announced, I was like, the announcement of that studio was only like 2 months ago, maybe? Like, no way they have a show done. It's animation. It's gonna take a long time. But and then they started updating it, and were like, it was apparently the Avatar: The Last Airbender official Facebook page that announced it as an original series. But what it turns out that it's gonna be is it's an original fan-led like debate podcast series, whatever the fuck. And I'm like, oh my God, get the fuck out of here. That's why I straight up was like, I don't believe you. No way.
There is a tweet that I saw that I don't know if you saw this week from is it Alfred Molina? Is that his name? I think it's Alfred Molina.
Michael Caine? Alfred?
No. So like Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Talking about, and he was talking about like Far From Home. So he's legitimately, he didn't like, and people were retweeting it saying like, oh yeah, he doesn't care about an NDA or anything. Because he was saying, then he said some stuff about like what was it? He called Robert Downey Jr. Bob Downey Jr.
That man was insane. I feel like he's gonna get murdered. He was just sort of
talking about, I forget how he worded it, but it was something about like that, like nobody's ever dead.
Yeah.
And so he's confirming that he is in Spider-Man What the Fuck Home. Homeward Bound.
Spider-Man What the Fuck Home.
And if he's in it, that leads me strongly to believe that Tobey Maguire is going to be a cameo.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Even though Tom Holland lied to us all.
Being a liar.
Can't believe Tom Holland would lie to us.
It's really.
Now we can never trust Tom Holland.
It's true. Maybe that's their goal. Maybe that is literally, they wanted him to lie so that next time when he spoils something, they'll be like, oh, he's just lying. You know what I mean? It's gonna be untrustworthy.
Yeah, but
like
either
The Boy Who
way,
Cried Wolf.
it's just like it's weird when like we had so many like news reports saying that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are gonna be as cameos in whatever home Spider-Man 3 home. And then just to have him so blatantly be like, no, they're not in it. It's just like, okay. Like we can almost tell when he's lying now.
Yeah.
He should have been like,
find...
yeah, he should have done it. They should have done something. They should have faked an interview where he accidentally said they're not in it and then pretended to be like, oh crap, I'm not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
And then they leak that interview and then that's how they, but just for him to come out and say it is just kind of sus already.
So I found the article earlier this week on Twitter. Their Variety tweeted out their article that says Alfred Molina details Doc Ock's return in Spider-Man No Way Home. The tentacles do all the work. Parentheses exclusive. Which also, the tentacles do all the work? Jesus Christ!
This isn't hentai. It's Spider-Man
that's
hentai.
That's gross. But yeah, this is like basically they have like an interview with him. It's a weird thing. But a friend of mine retweeted that and was like, "Are you guys allowed to post this?
Yeah.
Is this okay? Are you guys okay?" And yeah, so that seems basically confirmed.
So yeah, we got multiverse. We've got Doc Ock, which also means we've got Tobey Maguire. It's just inevitable.
It should.
If he's not in the movie, it's going to be a shit movie because everybody's already expecting it now. Now that Alfred Molina's in it.
I'm going to try my hardest to go into that movie not expecting it. And then if it happens, I'll be surprised and happy. You know?
No,
I mean,
but
I won't
like
really be
subconsciously,
surprised,
you're
but-
going to be expecting it because you know that Doc Ock is in it. You're not going to pull Doc Ock and not have like Tobey Maguire just even like say a couple words as Peter Parker or as somebody.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and wipe my brain.
It's like
of all
Matt
expectations.
Murdock. Like we
Will I
know
be
he's in it,
successful?
and it's
No.
like if.
Fuck yeah, I forgot about that. Let's go.
But it's like we know he's in the show as Matt Murdock. We don't know if he's gonna have a post credit scene of him donning the Daredevil cowl or something like that.
No way.
I mean,
they could, but like, don't get my hopes up. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna believe it till it happens.
yeah, but Tobey Maguire has to be in Spider-Man Far From Home or Spider-Man No Way Home. I hate the naming conventions of this stupid Spider-Man trilogy because you're just blending them all and I don't know which is which and I'm just like, whatever. They all are, because you can't do that with Cap.
It won't be too hard once the third one comes out. Then we'll know all three of them. But it's just, we don't know too much about the third one yet, so it's hard to remember. Like I didn't.
When we're gonna
remember
see a
No Way
trailer.
Home. It's gonna be a bit, I would think. I mean, you never know though.
Usually like
supposed to
6
be-
months. 6 months is a good enough time for a trailer.
Yeah. We went from Black Widows
That was like a year.
long time ago. Yeah. But that was definitely when it was supposed to be out a lot sooner. Also, one thing, while scrolling through Variety's Twitter trying to find that tweet and that article, I kept seeing a bunch of stuff about Game of Thrones. And I was like,
yeah,
there
I
was
saw
one that's
that.
like every Game of Thrones spinoff in the works. Dude, and I Googled, is the final Game of Thrones book out yet? No, it's
No. But
still
these are
not
prequels.
out.
These are
Yeah,
all
the-
prequels, and it's like I don't know.
Here's a summary from
Do
Inverse.
do you care?
The iconic
Like you watch all of Game of Thrones. Do you care about these prequels? Like, yeah, I don't. Like,
I mean, if they're good, I'll probably watch them, to be honest. But
it's
like,
just so tough. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a time a prequel show, a prequel movie hit it out of the park because it is so tough to have a prequel where you already know what happens, and then if it's going to be so closely tied into the original show. Like you're gonna have what Targaryens? Is that Targaryens? But like you already know what happens to them, and
that's not. That's
it's not a side stuff. Like the side stuff I can understand. Like the Mandalorian. Mandalorian's not too tied into like the Star Wars movies. And like the same with Obi-Wan, it's still tied, but it's not that tied because it's still on the side. I don't know. It's confusing,
Dude,
at
what
least
the
with
fuck?
me.
No way. There's one.
Oh yeah, and then like doesn't
2,
Amazon
3,
have like some
4,
stupid
5,
stupid
6.
budget? It's like
There's
400
6 different HBO Game of Thrones spin-offs
but aren't-
happening.
But isn't Amazon doing them?
I don't know. It says HBO.
I thought
At
Amazon.
least one of these is HBO. I don't know. So here, the first spin-off series to trail the success of Game of Thrones is none other than prequel House of the Dragon, which is set to
success.
enter production this spring and is currently eyeing a 2022 debut. Series, which received a 10-episode order from HBO, is based on George R.R. Martin's book Fire and Blood and takes place 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. So that's
Okay, that's
even
not bad. 300 years I can get behind because it's enough
Yeah.
time apart that nothing
crazy.
in that show is going to directly affect the original show.
This is so crazy. Why are there so many? Okay, the next one is called The Tales of Dunk and Egg. Spinoff would be based on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a series of novellas published by Martin that follow the adventures of Sir Duncan the Tall and a young Aegon V Targaryen, Egg, taking place 90 years before the start of Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. So that's another prequel. And then, so this is one that...
Not all of these are going to be made though.
No,
I'll tell you.
no way.
Like,
No way. This next one is called 10,000 Ships. Arya Stark named her direwolf Nymeria after the legendary war queen who married Lord Mors Martell and ruled over Dord. Okay, what? The working title of the spinoff in development alludes to the legendary tale of Nymeria fleeing the What the fuck?
you know what this sounds like? This sounds like James
This is supposed to be
Cameron.
1,000 years before.
This sounds like James Cameron making Avatar 2 through 6,
Yeah.
where it's like at a point nobody cares anymore because of how bad a sour taste it left in fans' mouths. It's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be hard, I feel, for people to like be super excited about another Game of Thrones thing.
Okay, so looking at all of these all look to be prequels. All 5 or 6 of these.
Well, yeah, because like they're not gonna.
But the end of the finale clearly set up shit for Arya that could absolutely have been a new show. Like that was
But we don't know where the books.
clearly
He
a
might
setup.
kill off Arya.
Oh, fucking who knows, dude. But like I thought at least one of these would be her. Like she's literally going to explore like the ends of the earth that are uncharted on maps, like that are not on maps. Like that's okay. You could easily make a show on that. But like none of these are that.
Well, also, you're not gonna get another actress,
Yeah.
but
I legitimately
she's gonna be a lot older by the
Yeah,
time
that's true.
they ever touch a show about Arya. So it's gonna be a
Yeah.
weird.
one, and then the final one here is just animated series, and they're talking about the animated series with like no detail on it whatsoever. So like, the problem
don't
is
know.
I actually do once the final book is out, I would like to read the books, but I just would at this point, you know, there's one left.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna start now. I'll just wait until the final one's out.
Yeah.
Even though it'll take me forever to get through all the others, but I would love to do that because I still stand by. I think the final season and where a lot of the story arcs ended up, like for the characters and where they all ended. I don't think in concept is bad. I think in execution it was bad because they didn't have enough time. But I feel like in that book, they could absolutely like it in the whole book series. I feel like that could absolutely be very clearly like foreshadowed and then developed and then like and like I think that will be a really satisfying, probably good like series from start.
They need
to finish.
extended universe Game of Thrones like they did with Star Wars, where it was just like, you know what, we're gonna let like a lot of different writers tell a lot of different stories in books.
Yeah, I doubt George R. R. Martin would ever do that though. It's his.
But the
baby,
thing is George Lucas did, because this was still before.
George Lucas isn't an author though. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, that's
George
true.
R. R. Martin is mainly just wanted to make the books. He said, I watched interviews back in the day when it came to like actually signing the rights to do a show, and he was like, he basically, this was such a fun interview that I watched back in the day because he met with the two like showrunners and he basically like quizzed them, and he was like, who is oh my god, I'm forgetting the fucking one of the main characters' name. It's fucking
Jamie
Jon?
Lannister, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. I was thinking Stark, and then I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Well, he's
but yeah,
a Stark, but he's best.
He is. That's the whole thing. But he was like, "Who's Jon Snow's mom?" And at that point, it was literally just the first book
Wasn't it
had
like
come out.
Eddard's sister, and I don't know.
Yeah,
her
it's
name.
I don't even know. It's a whole fuck. But
She
they
banged a Targaryen.
they basically guessed correctly, and he's like, okay, y'all got this, which they did until they got bored and wanted to do other shit.
I mean, I don't fault them because
they had Star Wars calling, which at this point
now is that isn't that over?
Yeah,
that
I
deal's
think
over
so.
too.
Wait, is it? I don't know.
Star Wars movie
Isn't it
deals
right-
are very
is-
far in
Yeah.
the
Is
future. Ryan Johnson still has a
making his
trilogy,
That's exciting.
but who knows what it's going to be about?
I just
They've
Googled
got a
Game
lot
of
of
Thrones writers,
shows.
Star Wars.
They're trying.
Nope.
Everybody now is just trying to copy the Marvel blueprint.
But way too quickly, and they're all failing.
Yeah, like they're literally just trying to be like, hey, look at all of the stuff we have upcoming. And it's like when Iron Man came out, Disney, like Marvel didn't do that. They didn't say like, look at all of the things we're doing. They did it slow. And it was just like a slow burn. And then now Marvel is doing that. But I don't know. It's just it's so hard to be excited when you see all of these icons and title cards, and you're just like, cool. But like, it's like anybody can go into Photoshop and make like Star Wars, and it's like R2D2 C3PO, and like they have a show, and it's just
Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
there's a time when it's cool to announce things, and then there's a time where it's just too early. Even if you have it cooking, just let it cook some more before you say like, hey, here's Ahsoka Tano's show. Well, I guess that's okay because we've seen her now in a show. But like when The Mandalorian first came out, if they announced the same time, they're like, hey, in how many years we're gonna have an Ahsoka Tano show. And it's just like, cool, but that's so far away that like, why are you even announcing it now? We don't know who's gonna play her. You don't know what the story's gonna be about. It's just like there's a time and a place for everything. And sometimes, and now everybody, like all these studios are just blowing their load a little too fast.
Damn.
Well, it's like they announced like Blade, and it's like, yeah, we know who's gonna play him, but that's still probably like 4 years from now.
Yeah, I think they said it was a long ways off. I think they said that wasn't even like phase 4.
No,
or
that's like
whatever
phase
we're on.
5,
They
and
were
it's like,
yeah.
okay, like why are you even mentioning it? Like we know that you have we know that you have Blade, but like, I think just trailers. If it's like a live action thing, don't announce it until you have a trailer.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. For Marvel, I want to know because I'm excited about things.
I do, but like I don't want to always be thinking about Blade. Because like I love Blade, and I love the Fantastic Four, and now like Kevin Feige's like, oh yeah, we're talking about Fantastic Four, and it's like now my mind, even when I'm watching these movies, now I'm thinking, well, how are they going to incorporate the Fantastic Four? How are they going to incorporate Blade? If they didn't say, hey, we got all this stuff in the future, then I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be thinking about like who's gonna play Reed Richards, who's gonna play the
far in the future.
I was gonna say the
that,
Flash,
like-
the Torch. Who's gonna play like? It's just
Yeah, but it's like so far in the future that I don't know why it would be interfering your current with
it's
your
not
current
not
enjoyment.
my current enjoyment. It's just that like you just don't need to know until you know. It's not like it's like with Thanos.
Sometimes people like getting hyped. They like making those fan castings and making those theories
Yeah,
of
but
how
it-
they're going to incorporate it. It
It's
adds to it.
I think a year is a good time
Yeah.
to say like what's happening next year, not what's happening 3 to 4 years from now. Because the world, we might get invaded by aliens, and they might
I
just
mean,
nuke the whole
I
world.
don't know. I don't know if I can fully side off on this. Because do you remember, I don't know when the when they announced it, but like it was a good bit in advance when they said like Infinity War is supposed to be 2021 and Endgame's supposed to be like, or it was something. No, I don't know. When did Infinity War come out? 2018, 19?
2018.
18? Yeah, they said that was supposed to be 2018, and then Endgame was supposed to be the next year too. And at the time, it was like Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. That's all we knew. And they said that like a lot. Like I remember thinking like, oh my god, 2018? Am I ever gonna fucking reach that year? That's crazy.
No,
dude.
it wasn't that
Dude,
far in
100.
advance.
They announced it a ways away, like
No,
at
'cause
least
it's-
3 years.
No. 2015?
I think so.
When did Age of Ultron come out?
That's a good question.
Because those are the bookends. So they didn't announce it in 2015. I think they announced it mid.
It might have been leaked around there.
It might have like they probably announced like mid
the end of that year.
phase 3.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I remember literally, maybe this is literally just because I was a child. But I remember being like, 2018? No way. It's so far.
Well, it's just like it's the same with video games. Like they just announce things too far in advance. And
they announced Infinity War in October 2014.
so before
They're
Age of
at,
Ultron
like-
came out?
Yeah. Infinity War
I don't
Part
remember that
1
at
was
all.
announced for May 2018 and Part 2 for May 2019. I think this was at the big, like, they did a whole fucking slate of, like, here are all the upcoming MC. They did, like, a giant,
remember
like,
that.
press conference kind of thing. And I think that's where this was. But yeah, I just remember being like, I'm never going to make it to 2018. And then I remember
4 years
going to
is-
see Infinity
is too
War. I
long.
was like, dude, we're here. I made it. I made it. We're here. And then when it ended, and I'm like, fuck, I have to wait another year.
I just feel the hype.
For the most part,
the hype
with a
machine
lot
is
of
just
things,
too
I'm
much.
with you. But sometimes I like the hype. I like hype in general. But when it comes to like video games,
Like Elder Scrolls,
like a small
Elder Scrolls 6.
hype
And it's like
window.
that's not coming out until like 2025. If you think that's anywhere close, and it's like, why are you even talking about it? Why? Like we know that you're probably working on it. You're not going to show us anything except the title card. I don't know. To me,
They had to
it
get
just
all the casuals that aren't following it like that, being like, "Oh, I'm working on Elder Scrolls." Like I remember literally talking to, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like my brother-in-law or something. But I remember talking to somebody, and they're talking about like their most anticipated games for the next year, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago or something. They're like, "Oh man, Elder Scrolls 6! I
yeah,
can't
because
wait
they
to play
announced
that
it like
next year."
2 years. Like it was still when they had what was it? When they had E3. So I think it was 2019 is when
Yeah.
they announced it.
And he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to play it next year." And I'm like, "Oh, buddy, got some bad news." And that's like even this guy I follow on Twitter, Blue Westlow, a Destiny dude, right? Like when The Last of Us Part 2 was announced, which was like 3 years in advance, I think. I don't know. And he was saying that he was gonna play it like the next year. And I'm like, oh, brace yourself, man. No
Video
way.
games
And then
are
it was
even worse
2 or
because
3
like they
years
get
later.
pushed back so easily. Movies don't get pushed back as much, pandemic aside. But video games get pushed back all the time, and so it's just so hard.
Last of Us Part 2 was announced December 3rd, 2016, and came out last year, right? 2020 in the summer, right? And I remember
and it
being
was
like, oh,
but it was supposed to come out in 2019.
It was supposed to. That was like its initial release date. But even then, I was like, he
3
was like,
years.
oh, Last of Us Part 2 is going to be the best game of 2017. And I'm like, bud, no way that game is 2017 or 18. That is either 19 or 20. And then it came out in 20. So like, it's hard. They like to get it out there so people are aware, but I wish that
and investors.
people did.
It's mostly with like a lot of E3 announcements are for investors. We think it's cool because like we get to see it, but it's mostly just for more people to give money to the studios.
It's true.
That's really all it is. But
That's fair.
it just sucks because the gamers always are the ones that get the shaft when it's like, hey,
Gamers
here's,
suffer, you know what I mean?
here's this
We
game that
gotta
came.
rise up.
When did Cyberpunk get fucking announced? It was like 10 years ago. Same with Kingdom Hearts 3, where they're like all these games where it's just so tough. And
Final Fantasy 15 was the same way too, right?
well, Final Fantasy 15 was announced with Final Fantasy 13. Like sort of.
Yeah.
It was the Final Fantasy 13 and then like 13 Versus, and then there was another one. And that was
The
supposed
Last
to be
Guardian was also. I loved that whole story of like every year, I had like YouTube personalities being like, it's gonna be at E3, it's gonna be at E3 this year. I've been saying it for the last 5 years, but it's gonna be here. And then when it actually was, they were like, what the fuck? I never actually expected this to come back.
yeah, it's
crazy.
just weird. Announcing things
I like
super
that aspect
early
of
is
the video game industry. It's fun.
is tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance because like sometimes, but then I like Fallout 4 did it pretty well when they're like, hey, here's this game that you knew that we were working on, and it's coming out later this year, and it came out later that year, and then
It's gonna be out in the fall.
yeah,
And then it
like
was.
that was pretty dope. I want a little bit of that. Maybe not every
Yeah.
single game release like that, but I don't know. That shows a lot more confidence rather than like, hey, here's this game that we're working on. Here's a trailer. It's all CG, so none of it's in game. Then like half of it is like the artists drawing the art for the game. It's like, dude, like I know that is part of the game dev, but if you want to get my hype, you got to show trailers, in-game trailers. You got to show more than
This
that.
is a whole conversation on the hype cycle and how it works. It's very personal preference for each person.
Oh, yeah.
And even for each game. Like certain games, I'm down for the weird, like, oh, the devs are working. What are they working? Zoom in on the computers. You know what I mean? And then some games I'm like, no, just don't. I don't care enough. Like, just show me it and release it in 6 months. Like, it's cool. But it's all dependent on the game and on the person, you know?
Like with Final
Sometimes,
Fantasy
I don't know.
16,
Just depends.
like I'm glad that they didn't show that years ago.
Yeah.
And showed people drawing stuff. I'm like, they showed in-game combat.
That's
they
a
showed
ve- like-
story. They showed a lot of stuff, and that game's probably still not coming out for another 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. But I did like that reveal. I like that trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was very cool. It just depends. But yeah, for the most part, I'm with you. And I wish things were like shown, released faster. But certain times, I think you do want the big, like, you gotta be thinking and knowing that it's there. And fucking God of War Ragnarok, right? Like, you want to, at the end of a conference, have like the dun, dun,
But that was last
dun,
year.
boom, there's the logo, and then you're like, oh fuck, it's coming, even though we all knew it was coming. Like, and then you gotta wait for that for 3 years, and you expect to wait for that for 3 years. This is
Well, they
fine.
said this year.
Yeah, I know, but it's not.
They
there's no
said
way.
2021.
I
It'll
know
probably
they
get
said.
pushed to 2022.
No, I've been saying that all year. No way Horizon and God of War come out this year. Horizon,
Horizon
has
is.
a more likely of a chance to come out, but God of War, I don't believe there's any way that comes out this year.
I mean, it could be a
It
fall
still
game.
could, but whew.
Like they didn't do DLC, so that team has had a long time to work on that game. That was 2018 as well.
2-3 years. Like, you know, I don't know. That's definitely not like the cycle these days. Most of the time, it's about 3 years for big game sequels. You know.
Yeah, like
Depends, though.
it's tough with a sequel because a sequel should take a little bit less time. Because
Yeah, God of War's original development cycle was about 5 years.
yeah, and they scrapped it halfway through as well.
Yeah. It's possible, but like at this point where it was just the teaser with the logo, like when you just show that, like if in a month, in a week or 2 months, they start showing like, oh, here's a trailer, and then I'll be like, oh fuck, okay, this might actually come out this year. But like right now, where it's just the logo and the God of War Ragnarok is coming, usually that's not a
Well,
good sign.
Pretty much we have
For
to wait
anytime
for well, same with Horizon. Horizon wasn't any gameplay, was it?
Yep.
No, it was all CG.
No, It was all cinematic, like
Yeah.
CG stuff. Yeah, definitely more though. Like definitely more of a like. There's a game here
Yeah.
than God of War.
We have to
I'm
wait
excited,
for E3 if like there's like the digital E3, because I could easily see them both being fall games because they're both of them were spring games, but they were also both sort of new IPs. God of War not so much, but like still technically kind of new because it was a new story, even though it's just the same character dropped in another, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a new IP, but it sort of
If
is.
they do come out, if God of War specifically comes out, fucking Jeff in the fantasy league is gonna fucking take over, dude. He's gonna take.
Well,
the
it'll get a
fuck
10
over.
out of 10.
He has so many games on his list that are literally like, no way this game comes out this year, but if it does come out, it gets a 10. He has God of War Ragnarok. He has Breath of the Wild too.
Well, that's not coming
And,
out this year.
Yeah, but like if both of those came out, he'd win. Like he's playing the high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Oh my god, mine is still doing pretty good. Deathloop is still, I think, gonna get a really good score.
I got
See
pushed
what's
to
up.
just the fall though.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah. I don't
like
know.
it's
not too
it's
many
good
things
that like
I'm
it got
super
pushed
stoked about.
because like I want them to take their time, and I just don't want them again to like overwork the studio, but like
Yeah.
I don't want them to rush it. It's this weird balancing act.
I'm not keeping up with too many current games or anything. I mean, if I was, I would have already played some of the stuff I was hyped about. Like, I really wanted to play The Pathless and Bug Snacks and all that that's on PC, but I still haven't.
snacks.
Whoa.
Okay, bug
Bug
snacks.
Snacks. It's a great song.
Does anybody have the Mass Effect collection? In your
No,
little
because
fantasy?
trilogy or remakes and whatnot are not, like, they weren't allowed. Any sort of remake or remaster.
That's just. So that's an easy points right there.
Yeah. Yep.
'Cause no matter what, Mass Effect is just getting, man, my anticipation for Mass Effect is, I just can't wait. I'm going to play all of those games like back to back to back. It's
Hell
going to
yeah.
be so good.
Oh my god.
Oh,
well,
I'm excited.
Well, if you're gonna end up streaming those games, where would people be able to watch that?
Well, they would be, I don't know. I might actually stream them because I'm taking
That's a
some
good
time off.
idea.
I'm taking like a couple days off work, so I might actually stream.
You could
Mass Effect.
absolutely just like whenever you are playing that, just go live and be like, "Hey, we're playing more Mass Effect. Here we go." You know,
Yeah.
make it super chill. You're just grinding.
But you can find me on Twitter at Tyson Pellegrini, Twitch T Pellegrini, and Instagram Pellegrini_17. And that still is like a couple weeks away, so we got some time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll stream Pokemon Snap. That doesn't really seem like a streaming
taking
type of
pictures.
game.
High octane gameplay, bro.
Also, it's probably going to be gyroscoped. Well, I guess you could do that with a controller, but like
Yeah.
it's going to be cool to be like, oh, there's Pikachu eating a pear or something. You're like, oh, I can't wait for that game. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so stupid, but like I'm also getting it physical because I know that like after a month, maybe less, I'll be like, okay, I'm done with this game.
Oh, you know what's one game I really wanted to get before Mario died, but I just didn't, was the fucking Mario 3D All-Stars. Never got it. And now it's just gone forever.
I have a physical.
Can't
I have
get
a
it.
physical, and you know I'm gonna put it up on eBay for $1,000.
Good luck. The problem is that
There are people
like,
that have it up. I don't know if it's for 1,000, but it's like up there sealed. I should have bought two
Wild.
copies because
Yeah.
like if you're never gonna
Yeah.
be able to find it, that's a collector's item. As crazy as that is.
stupid. I hate it so much. I should have bought it though. I wanted to buy it digital just so I had it, but too late. I forgot. And then Mario died.
Yeah. Or you can get
That's
Mario
amazing.
Golf. That's gonna be another game in June.
Oh, that's
I'm
the
gonna play.
one game this year I want to buy. It's Mario
It's gonna
Golf.
be fun. Resident Evil. Can't wait for that. Lady Demiscu. Have you seen all the new gifts with her?
Nah,
Well, you haven't
I
seen
know
Jurassic
people
Park,
are-
so you don't even fucking
people are
get it.
getting
But
very
there's like
horny, but
there's a funny GIF where, because there's a part in Jurassic Park where one of the guys is like laying on top of a Triceratops. I think that's giving birth, something like that. But he's laying on her, and it's all practical effects, and she's like breathing, and he's like moving. and it's all
Yeah.
practical. So it looks really cool because this was like the 90s. But somebody has put him on like I think it's Lady Demascu's butt. And
Nice.
he's like moving like, I'm like, oh man, I love the internet
great.
sometimes.
It really is a blessing sometimes, you know what I mean? But we're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier
Where can people
spoilers
find
for this
you?
week. But if you don't want to stick around for that, you can find me at twitch.tv/Teddy Chinaris and YouTube the same, Twitter, Instagram, all that. I'm streaming most nights 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central, except for on Mondays where we play Minecraft starting at 10. Yeah, that's where you can find me. We're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier because it's a very good show, let me tell you.
Very good episode, very different.
Woo!
And I saw a lot of
Easily
not a lot of
my
hate.
favorite episode.
Not a lot of hate, but like I saw a lot of, I don't know, people just, I don't know what people expected. I expected something extremely different than WandaVision, and so that's why each episode was like still kind of refreshing because it was just like, it felt more real, I guess. And I just love how Marvel can do both sides of the coin, where they have like this crazy sitcom TV with a witch and an android, and then on the flip side, they've got this like fairly serious show with some fantastical elements, but like this episode especially dealt with some like fairly hard issues, and even like the last episode with Bucky, very emotional. Just like it's still just so good and like. Yeah.
This episode was fucking awesome. I really liked it. It started off with the fucking fight scene in the goddamn, like, I don't know, the warehouse. And they're like, oh, it's so good. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out, which after watching Kind of Funny Reactions, I'm surprised they didn't really mention this. From a cinematic perspective, like when they were finally, like, both of them together, ripping off the shield off of his arm, and they basically had to like break his arm to take it off. But like how it was shot and the intensity of that scene emotionally was very akin to Infinity War trying to rip off Thanos' gauntlet. Like very similar in my head of the like how they were all like struggling like that, and the same sort of, it seemed very similar, and like they were honestly trying to go for the same thing. And to me, I'm like, that's fucking awesome that the shield has that much importance to these two characters and to the audience because of its legacy and because of all that it means with the characters and all this shit. And like it's so good that like something that small in comparison to going to destroy half the universe can have the same kind of fucking emotional impact. I was like,
just like a
awesome.
shield.
Yeah, so good, so good. Like
Man.
the entire episode was focused on what the shield meant to different people, and every single person, you understood why it meant that way, why it meant the way that it did to them. Like so fucking good. Like the moment they all three were laying on the ground, it was there. Bucky got up, got it, looked at it for a second, and threw it down at Falcon. And it was very clear that was partially like respect of like, Steve gave this to you. And also partially like, this is what you did. You fucked it up by giving it away. Like it was both of those. And I was like, oh, it's so good. There were so many different moments throughout the episode where you could tell exactly what the person was thinking, like just from their acting. Like the moment later where Bucky wakes up and sees the two kids playing with it and he smiles. You know he's thinking like, Steve honestly would have loved that. You know what I mean? Like, you know he's thinking that. It's so good. I really liked it. Great episode.
I have to say that I forget the actor's name, but whoever plays John Walker does an amazing job because I hate his guts so much. Like just because he's like when he was in front of the like not Congress, but like in front of I don't know, the generals or whatever, and he starts like talking back, and he is such a brat that you're just like, oh my God, I want you to just get your comeuppance. Like I just want you to just get beat even harder. And I'm like, that takes a lot from an actor.
He's like an emotional baby. He's like, what
like, I've done everything for
throws
you.
The
And it's just like,
the bit where he's like, he smashes the table and he's like, I understand. But like, then he literally is like, you built me. Like,
Yeah.
I am Captain America. I thought that was such a good fucking point of like, he is Captain America of like, when you just give it to a soldier that is in all regards the best soldier there is. Like, at that point when it comes to their record and making decisions and whatnot, but he's still an American soldier that went up in that fucking military. Like, that is the real quote unquote Captain America, whereas Steve was absolutely idealized, like not necessarily a soldier, but like just a dude who wants to make the right choices. You know what I mean? Like it was like the idealized America versus the fucking real America, and I thought that was awesome.
Also, Steve like kind of
did that.
He was a soldier
So
for a couple of years, but then he was frozen for 50. Whereas John has been a soldier like probably his whole adult life, fighting wars and fighting for like doing this all like probably killing people and doing all of these things that have maybe jaded him a lot to like the idea of like what a soldier is. And it's just, like when he did say like, yeah, you built me. It's like, yeah, like
I like that line a lot. I was like, it's not wrong.
Yeah. It was just so good.
Yeah. He's evil.
What else?
Fucking.
Oh, I still love Zemo. It's like I really hope we get more of him.
Zemo's great.
Zemo's perfect.
great.
And I'm like, I don't think he'll ever be redeemed like a Loki character, but he'll be a good kind of he could be like an anti-hero because he has some good ideas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he goes about them the wrong way. He's not even as bad as Carly. I think Carly's worse than Zemo because I don't think that there's any redeeming for her.
The whole like I like the send off where Bucky like pretends like he's gonna shoot him and then he's like no they're gonna take you and he's like fuck. But I like Zemo's. He's straight up. He said, "I took the liberty of crossing off my name in your book. I hold no grudges for what you thought you had to do." And Bucky like nods. I was like, "All right, bud."
It's like a weird like respect,
so good.
even
So
though
good.
like they
100%.
both. It's just like
I love
that's
that.
so weird.
I love anytime there is any sort of respect between villains and heroes. I love it. So good. I'm looking through my notes because normally, if you want to watch this with me, you can go to twitch.tv/TeddyCheris, and Thursday nights at 2 a.m. we'll watch it together, and then we do a quick little reactions. But on Thursday, I had gotten the second shot, and I was really tired, so I just went to sleep and didn't watch it live. So I took notes, but I haven't like talked about it.
Sharon robbed.
Who?
Sharon, she's in this show for like not even a minute. She's on the phone, and I'm
Power
just like,
broker, dog.
yeah, I swear she's the power broker.
She's either the power broker or she's working with them. One of them.
But then, I still don't know who the power broker is. But
So
just
stupid.
Marvel,
So
just give us
stupid.
more Sharon. I just want more Sharon. She's kick-ass. She's jaded now, but she's still good.
I don't think that's very clear.
What?
Because, like, do you see,
That she's good?
the...
She's still good. She's still good.
Think about what she did this episode. Who'd she call in?
Who did she call?
She called in the Baron dude, the French guy, who went and joined Carly. She called him... She's the one who called him in to go kill Sam.
I think she has she's puppeteering. I think she's trying to. She
She's
has
a
a plan.
spy.
I think she has a plan, and then
Could be
I don't
playing
think
both
for
sides.
one you're not gonna make the daughter of Peggy Carter, not the daughter, the niece
You
of
could.
Peggy Carter, a villain. You're just not.
Definitely could. Why not?
Because she's too good. We've seen her good in so many. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, even then, she was a spy and had a very minor role in all
She
the
wasn't
others.
like a
also,
spy.
I didn't even mention this. I also watched Winter Soldier, the movie over the last.
She's great
week.
in that.
So good. It's such a good.
She's just so great, and I don't want them to screw her over and make her a villain because I don't think she'll be a good villain. I just don't think she'll be a good villain.
already is making a good.
No. She's not. I think that's
we'll
obviously
see.
they kind of want
The power
you
broker
to
thing is weird.
to think that they show
I
you
think-
this because they didn't have to have that in there.
Yeah.
Like they show you that to make you think that like, oh, she's bad, to make especially like the general public that are watching this being like, oh my god, Sharon's bad. She's a villain now, and it's like no,
Yeah.
that's what they want you to think, and then she's gonna pull the rug and be like, bam, I got you.
Damn. Dude, the whole power broker thing I think is literally my only downside to the show. We'll see how they finish it in the final episode, but it's so weirdly like clearly a setup for season 2, which is not like how this show works.
Are
but
these shows
if
gonna
this
have
was
season
any,
2s?
yeah, exactly. We don't know. I mean, WandaVision is probably not, but I feel like it's not off the table for all of them. I feel like some of the shows could, but
I feel
they
the shows are gonna
haven't said
bleed
anything about
into
that.
other shows,
Yeah.
especially like with the John Walker and Elaine or Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which was
Yeah.
like the big cameo.
Cameo, which
And
I
I
was
was
like, okay, was expecting a cameo
was
from
stoked.
previous.
I was stoked to be like,
things,
okay,
but
cool.
alright.
I was like, Elaine's in Marvel now, and
How old is Elaine from fucking Seinfeld?
she's not that old.
Seinfeld was a while ago, dog.
It's the 90s. She's probably like in her 50s.
Was it? Was Seinfeld in the 90s?
Yes.
I thought it was a little before.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, she's 60.
Okay, yeah.
She's only 60. That's not that bad.
So I had to look up that name. 'Cause I
Yep.
didn't know.
It was such a weird. Okay, as somebody who was kind of expecting a cameo of a character from the previous movies, because that's what I thought the rumor was. I thought the rumor was a cameo of an already existing character, but I guess I probably somebody else had, Game of Telephone. They probably said that when that wasn't the original rumor. The original rumor was just a big actor, I think. But the way that was shot and the way that happened, I was absolutely, I was like, oh shit, who's it gonna? And then I was like, okay, I don't know who the fuck. And then I had to
was
look it up
excited, though,
too.
because it's like I'm on the opposite side where I'm excited to see new people who we will probably see in future things. Where it's
And
like,
that's cool, but the way they framed it and shot it was very clearly supposed to be like, hey, look at this person. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, I'm familiar
that's
with the
exactly
actress,
what they
but I
did.
don't-
That's exactly what they did with Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas,
but
like,
that's because
technically-
it was an actor that. Yeah,
But technically,
I
it
guess that's
wasn't
fair.
in the universe. It wasn't. It was just it's
but that's way
poking
more
the fourth
exciting.
wall. And I feel
Yeah.
that this was kind of the same, where it was like, hey, here's this actress that's huge. Everybody loves her. And now she's in the Marvel universe, and you're like, "Oh,
The way
that's
they
so
did
cool.
it, I expected Jeff Bridges to be like, Tony! You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. There is a lot of potential with her as a character from seeing the comic character for the future. 100%.
Yeah, there's like ties to her. There's ties to her and Fury, and there's ties to her and whatever his Liv Tyler's father from the Hulk movies,
Yeah.
the General.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be something. I was reading into like the Thunderbolts, or is it Thunderbolts, something like that?
That's what it's
Where it was like
called.
the
I don't know much about it,
anti-Avengers.
but-
There's like
Yeah.
a team with the anti-Avengers and like Zemo and maybe John Walker. That's one thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I could see this.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was stoked. I wonder when we're gonna see them. Probably Secret Invasion.
Apparently,
for a
the
while.
rumor was that she was supposed to show up first originally in Black Widow. That's the whole thing. So
Oh
you
yeah,
never
because
know.
like that was another like the Florence Pugh's character is supposed to be like an anti-Avenger as well.
Yeah. Let me look through my notes here and see what.
All of the stuff in
haven't
Louisiana
mentioned.
was fucking awesome because it
Yeah,
was like such
100%,
a.
so
It was just
good.
like. It was real. It was away from the story, but it was like character development and just seeing them like live. Where like
Yeah.
Bucky's like flirting with Sam's sister and
So
It
good.
was just like it was so good.
And I love that right off the bat because he's just like, hi. He's like, oh, hi. And Sam just stands there and looks like, what the
He's like
fuck's
walking
going on?
away and he like
What are
looks
you-
back and
He just
like-
stands there like, what are you doing? What the fuck's happening here? And then later he just says it. I thought that was so funny.
I love also how people on Twitter were always like, "What's in the box? What's in the box?" And it's like, obviously, it's new wings,
the new
idiot.
it's the new suit. Like it's just gonna be a new suit.
What do you think?
Apparently, in the comics, what Falcon gets is a vibranium powered suit. So it basically makes him
It's like Black Panther. Like a Black
Yeah,
Panther
it's-
suit, kind of.
kinda, yeah. It basically makes him as if he's a super soldier with the suit on. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's dope. I like that.
That was Black Panther. Like I don't think without the suit, Black Panther's super powered.
He does have some powers, for sure. He
But
does
not
have
like-
some physical ability and shit from like
But not
drinking
like
or whatever the
crazy.
fuck.
Yeah, those little fruits.
drinking the little fruits. gives you the
Little
superpowers.
fruits. But not like crazy powers like when he has the suit on.
Yeah.
When he has the suit on,
yeah.
he's like bulletproof and he's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited about that. Apparently his suit in the comics like white. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Let's go.
I wonder if it's gonna have any like Captain America color. It's gonna have like
Yeah.
red and blue as well.
Probably not. I think it does have like the star, supposedly. Let me see here. Let's see. I loved the whole training montage of Sam
I don't know if I like
going
that
through.
one.
Loved it. You had to have it.
It's tough
And-
though because he's training without like obviously the suit.
That's why he's gonna be even better with the suit. The whole point is that he doesn't need the suit.
I guess,
you know what
but then
I mean?
no, but he doesn't even need the
Nothing
training.
without
then.
the suit, then you shouldn't
Technically,
have
doesn't
it.
need the training. Like he
No, I
doesn't
mean,
need training
still-
with the shield. He doesn't need to do the push-ups because he's
I mean,
gonna
if
have
he
this
gets
super
the suit, he's still not gonna know how to throw it. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the
throwing it
beginning of
before.
that training montage when he was throwing it against the wall and or against a tree and like bouncing back, he was trying to catch it and literally being like, "This shit's too fast. I have to duck."
But it was weird. Like right before he was throwing it with Bucky, and both of them were catching it.
Yeah, but was that before?
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
why it was weird. It was a weird place for the montage for me.
Yeah, maybe they should have put it beforehand or something. I don't know. But I took that as literally like he was legitimately getting practice with throwing it because there were a couple moments where he threw it and had to fucking duck because
Yeah.
he's like, fuck. And it was very clear that he saw improvement. And not only, I thought this was cool, not only was it him training to throw the shield and be able to handle it and like just, physical training, but also when he was catching it and shit, he was doing like Falcon fucking flips. Like it
Oh, yeah.
wasn't how Steve normally would have used the shield. It was how he did. I was like, oh, that's awesome. It was
I
great.
did like that, but it was just
It's so
it was weird because, well, I guess he never really had time with the shield. I'm just trying to think like
Yeah,
why
no,
would
I
he
mean-
why would he be like missing his throws? But it was just
because he doesn't, because he's never really
know.
tried.
it was just maybe it was a little too long. Maybe it was the music choice. I don't know. There were
I
just
like
some things where I just wasn't fully on board because usually with like training montages, I don't know. He was already a superhero before. And so that's why it was just like a weird spot for me, at least, where I was just like, you're already a hero.
Yeah, but he was very clearly already hero in a physical, very clearly different sense. Like
Yeah.
he basically knew that I think he knew that even if the suit inside that box was like super helpful, I don't think he wanted to rely on it. You know what I mean? I think he
I guess.
wanted to be fucking ready. Like I think it was a very clear like I have shoes to fill. Cause before,
I will
With
say,
some- with some SMGs.
Anthony Mackie has, like, especially this episode, a little bit of last episode when he was talking to Carly, has done an amazing job
So
of
good.
taking a character who has been a sidekick and is putting him in the place to be like the front and center hero, which I don't think that has really been done in Marvel. I'm trying to think of all the heroes who have
I mean,
really
not
been
really
sidekicks.
yet. It's very clear that was what they were going to do, but like now I think they're actually doing it. I don't think they had really done that yet. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm confident in like even like the way he was talking to Bucky when they were throwing around the shield, and Bucky was telling him like, when you got rid of the shield, you got rid of like I felt like you got rid of like my only family
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then And then
I mean, that whole scene was awesome with him.
and he said something about like it doesn't matter what Steve would think and stuff like that, and not like in a bad way, but in a way where it's like, yeah, like in a way where like Bucky's his own man, and
Yeah,
like, they're
well,
their
he
own man.
said-
They're not like, and even they joked about it. They're not. They're just like friends of. They have a common acquaintance, a common friend between them. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
I mean,
no-
as someone who has somewhat had a similar struggle when it comes to a line of thinking that Bucky had, right? Bucky literally was like, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me, and Bucky was basically going off of what Steve thought of him because Steve was kind of the one who pulled him out of fucking, mind control in a way and to be himself, and like Steve trusted him, right? So it's very, makes sense as to why he was relying so much on what Steve thought of him. But like the whole thing that Sam said was like, Steve's gone and you can't keep looking to other people for what they think of you. You have to decide what to think of yourself. And that is absolutely a super fucking important thing to realize. And I thought that was so good. I love that whole conversation there.
And he's like, you probably have like, or he said something about you have a book of people that you want to say sorry to, or he said like you have one person that you want to say sorry to, and then Bucky's like, no, I have hundreds, and then Sam's like, start with one. And
Yeah,
it was like, it was
it's
just
always
like
the good. Yeah,
That's something that Steve would say, but
And the whole
Sam
bit
says it in
was
his
like-
own way.
the whole bit was you're not actually making amends, you're avenging. You're going back and stopping them when he's like, there's got to be someone in that book that actually needs your help.
It needs closure, yeah.
Yeah, like so good. And after watching Winter Soldier for the first time in a while too this last week, like the one scene that always stands out to me, which is such a minor little scene, and I'm so glad we got it, and I wish we got more of it, and we kind of have more of it in this show, is when, Steve goes to visit Sam when he's like doing the counseling for vets, and at the end, he kind of talks to Steve about like, well, what are you doing here in the current world? You know what I mean? It's like, what makes you happy? And he's literally like, I don't know. Like, it's so good. Love that shit. It's awesome.
I find it funny,
seeing Sam actually be that
the
was
post credit scene. I found it very comical. I don't know if that's just me. Comical in a way where it's like there's this dude and he's just putting together this metal fucking shield, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
you're going up against
be
people who
very
have
different.
vibranium armor and now vibranium shield, and you're welding your fucking little your little stars and your patches on, and I'm just like, and you're spray painting it, and I'm like, bro, like that's not gonna do shit. I don't know why. Like Bucky could crush that thing with his hand.
Yeah. Oh,
And if
one
they
other
don't,
thing
if they
about,
don't, if you like, if that shield has any effect over them, I don't know. Like it was just weird.
one other line that I wanted to point out that I thought was fucking awesome was the Bucky goes to do something and he uses his right hand. He's like, "Why didn't you use your metal arm?" He's like, "I don't always think of it. I'm right-handed." Oh my God,
But then
so
in the
funny.
next shot, he's using the sander with his left hand.
He thought of it. He had to purposefully be like, "Oh
Still.
shit, I got."
I was like, if you're right-handed, you would probably just use the automatic sander with your right hand. If you're right-handed.
Also, I'm looking at Falcon's Captain America suit in the comics.
Doesn't he have like a headband? Sort of. It's like a full suit.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, buddy, let's go.
But if it's white, then we're gonna have too many white.
It's not
suited-
exactly white. There is definitely a lot of white on it, but the pictures that I'm seeing are very blue and red.
Because
Like,
we got a white Vision. Now we got a white Falcon.
oh my God, dude, I'm excited to see the suit because, oh my God, like looking at Scarlet Witch's final suit in WandaVision in comparison to the comics, though, like what they're gonna do with this is going to be fucking awesome because it already does.
It's interesting.
look really
Like
good.
they're like, okay, Wanda got a new suit. Vision got a new suit. Vision.
These shows, for
Bucky
the
got a
most
new
part,
arm,
are
and then
about
Sam got a new
examining
suit.
what it means to be that character, and then kind of like a big bit of growth. You know what I mean?
But
And
also,
evolution.
they're not just gonna make these costume changes for the end of this show. Like obviously,
Oh, yeah.
this is that character's look for the future movies, for whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a cool way to introduce it instead of just like introducing it in the movie. Like if they're like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, here's Scarlet Witch. And it's like, oh, now you're dressed different. It's like you see like the progression of the character and then the culmination in the new suit. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Which, to be fair, they probably would have, like, in past movies, they kind of do just have, like, a suit change. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas in this, they can
it's, like,
still
more
do
meaningful.
that. And you're not going to miss shit, but the people who watch the shows are going to be like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
It's weirdly meaningful. And it's like, they're probably going to do the same thing with Hawkeye or Kate. I don't know if Hawkeye is going to be moving forward, but like obviously Kate is.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to do the same thing with that.
Oh, man, it's crazy.
Man, Marvel doesn't miss. And it's like everybody's just waiting for that one flop. And it just doesn't really happen. Even like the down episodes, because like Falcon Winter Soldier had some, like, I don't want to say not great, but like some episodes were better than the others. And the ones that weren't better were still fucking amazing. And it's like, that's so
really
crazy. Where it's like,
I
even your
really
misses
enjoyed it.
are hits.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like literally, I don't know. I'm scared for the day when Kevin Feige fucking dies or retires or some shit.
We have to figure out, does he have kids? We need to keep it in the gene pool. We need to keep Feige at the helm of Marvel for the end of time.
It scares me. It scares me. Because, like, legitimately, I think he is a huge fucking part of it for the creative
I think
vision
also
of
he has a team.
going forward. Yeah.
Like, yes, we like, because his name is just like the name that we go to, but there's a lot of people that probably help him as well. So I'm sure like when he does inevitably step down, that he like picks the person that will be able to keep it going.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm just like,
enjoying it so
I'm
much.
almost like
very
kind
ready
of
for the
curious.
finale. Oh my god.
Curious at like what could be a flop, and like when
We don't need to worry about it.
It's just so crazy though, because that just never happens with music, with TV, with anything. It's just Marvel's always just like, it's just always getting better. And you think like, oh no, this one's gonna be the flop. Captain Marvel's gonna be the flop. And like going back and watching that this year, I was like, no, this is a great fucking movie. It's like, yeah, there were some things that you don't really like, but it was still just like a great movie.
They're very good. They're very good. I'm very excited. Spider-Man No Way Home later this year.
Spider-Man, go home. You're drunk.
Spider-Man Go Home, says Tyson. Well, everybody, that's it. I'm going to go get some food. Gonna go take a little break for the day. It's exciting.
I gotta wait for these stupid curtains because they're still out for delivery.
I was gonna ask what you were getting delivered because your curtains are still having some issues.
Yeah, because of Cat.
Did
I've
he
got
rip
nice
them
black.
anymore? It kind of looks more open than they were.
Oh yeah. But the thing
Did he
is,
go
is
back
like,
at them?
this is I want to say 4 years, and it only ripped now. I don't think he'll clot these because he sees like a thread. He sees like a stray thread, and he's like, oh, I gotta get that thread. So like if I have new curtains, hopefully he won't scratch them. And it's like I can't do anything. I have to spray him with a water bottle to get him to run away, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, next week, new curtains.
There you go. All right. Well, we're getting out here. Catch us outside every Monday. Oh, hey, if I know we're saying this in Falcon and Winter Soldiers, but if you guys want to talk about anything, you got any, life advice that you want us, the wise, the most wise people on the internet, really,
The wisest.
the
And
wisest
the most
two
humble.
people.
The most
Absolutely. If you want the wisest and the most humble people on the internet to give you some advice, you can tweet both of us at Teddy Chance or at Tyson Pellegrini or T Pellegrini, and then or you can email TysonTeddy2020@gmail.com if you want to.
When we started it, I didn't
It was
really think it
2020.
through, but like, hey,
it was
it's a
fun.
good in 50 years when we're still doing this.
We'll be like, hey, we started there.
remember 2020?
Oh God, yep. Jesus.
Oh, good times.
But yeah, you can send us an email. We'll talk about whatever. Send us any questions or comments. I'll check it before the beginning of next podcast. So yeah, but yeah, we're getting out of here. Peace.
Peace.
That's the